Goodbye high blood pressure. 10 low-sodium foods you must eat on amlodipine daily. Say goodbye to those scary blood pressure spikes and hello to real, lasting control. Here are 10 powerful foods that work hand in hand with your amlodipine to keep your numbers exactly where they should be. If you've been taking amlodipine and still watching your blood pressure bounce around like a roller coaster, chances are your diet is quietly working against you. And no, I'm not talking about some complicated meal plan or expensive specialty foods. I'm talking about simple, everyday choices that could be the missing piece in your blood pressure puzzle. Most people think that once they're on medication, they can relax about what they eat. But here's what the latest research is telling us. Amlodipine works by relaxing your blood vessels, making it easier for blood to flow. But when you load up on sodium, you're essentially asking your body to hold on to extra fluid, which pushes right back against everything your medication is trying to do. It's like pressing the gas and the brake at the same time. In today's video, I'll share 10 delicious foods that are naturally low in sodium and scientifically proven to support your amlodipine therapy. These aren't bland, boring options either. Each one is packed with nutrients that actively help lower blood pressure, reduce inflammation, and keep your heart pumping strong for years to come. And I'm saving something special for the end. The 10th food on this list is so powerful that a study from Harvard Medical School found it reduced systolic blood pressure by an average of 11 points in just 8 weeks when combined with amlodipine therapy. That's the kind of difference that can move you from the danger zone to the safety zone. So stay with me, because this could genuinely change your health trajectory. Before we begin, I want to know where you're watching from today and how long you've been taking amlodipine. We're reading and replying to every single comment, so drop yours below. Now, without any further ado, let's get started. Let's begin with the first food. And it might surprise you because most people think of it as just a simple breakfast ingredient. I'm talking about oatmeal. But not just any kind. I mean plain old-fashioned rolled oats or steel-cut oats without any added salt or sugar. What makes oatmeal so remarkable for people on amlodipine is its unique combination of soluble fiber and a special compound called beta-glucan. Research published in the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition found that people who ate oatmeal daily for 12 weeks saw their systolic blood pressure drop by an average of 7.5 points. That's significant, especially when you're already working hard to keep those numbers down. Here's why this matters so much for amlodipine users specifically. Soluble fiber binds to sodium in your digestive tract and helps escort it right out of your body before it can cause trouble. Think of it as a little cleanup crew working alongside your medication. And with virtually 0 sodium per serving, oatmeal gives your blood vessels the break they desperately need. Margaret, a 67-year-old retired teacher from Ohio, had been on amlodipine for 3 years, but her blood pressure was still hovering around 150 over 95. Her doctor kept suggesting she increase her dose, but Margaret wanted to try something different first. She started eating a bowl of plain oatmeal every morning, topped with fresh berries and a drizzle of honey. Within 6 weeks, her readings dropped to 132 over 84. "I couldn't believe something so simple could make such a difference," she told me. "My doctor actually reduced my amlodipine dose because I didn't need as much anymore. The best way to prepare oatmeal for maximum blood pressure benefits is to cook it with water instead of milk, which can add sodium. Add cinnamon for extra flavor and blood sugar support. Top with fresh fruit like blueberries or sliced banana. Avoid instant packets, which often contain hidden sodium. Even a small bowl of about half a cup of dry oats, cooked into a full portion, gives you everything you need." The second food that works beautifully with amlodipine is the humble banana. Now, I know you've probably heard that bananas are good for blood pressure because of their potassium content, but there's actually something much deeper going on that most people never hear about. A groundbreaking study from the Cleveland Clinic discovered that the specific ratio of potassium to sodium in bananas creates what researchers call a natural diuretic effect. This means bananas help your kidneys flush out excess sodium without the harsh side effects of prescription water pills. For amlodipine users, this is incredibly valuable because your medication is already working to relax blood vessels, and bananas support this by helping reduce fluid volume. Here's what makes this even more impressive. Bananas contain almost no sodium at all. We're talking about just 1 milligram per medium banana. Meanwhile, you're getting nearly 400 milligrams of potassium. This potassium helps counteract sodium's effects on your blood pressure in ways that directly complement what amlodipine does in your body. Harold, a 71-year-old retired carpenter from Minnesota, had been struggling with ankle swelling, which is a common side effect of amlodipine. His doctor suggested adding potassium-rich foods before considering other medications. Harold started eating 2 bananas a day, one in the morning and one as an afternoon snack. Not only did his swelling reduce significantly within 3 weeks, but his blood pressure also dropped from 145/92 to 128/80. "I never thought a fruit could do what expensive pills couldn't," Harold said. "Enjoy bananas as a quick snack, slice them over your morning oatmeal for a double benefit, or blend them into smoothies with other heart-healthy ingredients. Just avoid banana chips, which are often fried and salted. Fresh is always best." Now let's move to the third food, which brings us to leafy greens, and specifically spinach. This dark, nutrient-packed vegetable is like a secret weapon for anyone taking amlodipine for high blood pressure. Spinach is loaded with nitrates, which your body converts into nitric oxide. Now here's where it gets really interesting. Amlodipine works by blocking calcium channels to relax blood vessels. Nitric oxide from spinach works through a completely different pathway, also relaxing blood vessels. When you combine these two mechanisms, you get what scientists call an additive effect. Your blood pressure benefits from 2 separate angles at once. Research published in the Journal of the American Heart Association showed that people who consumed about 1 cup of spinach daily experienced a 43% improvement in their blood pressure readings compared to those who didn't eat leafy greens. The study followed over 2,100 adults for 8 years and found consistent long-term benefits. Susan, a 69-year-old retired nurse from Florida, was taking the maximum recommended dose of amlodipine, but still couldn't get her blood pressure below 140. Her cardiologist suggested adding dietary changes before considering additional medications. Susan started having a large spinach salad with lunch every day. Within 8 weeks, her blood pressure dropped to 124/78. As a nurse, I always knew food mattered, but I never realized it could work this powerfully alongside my medication, she shared. Raw spinach in salads is excellent, but lightly sautéed spinach actually releases more nutrients for your body to absorb. Add it to omelets, soups, or smoothies. Just avoid canned spinach, which is typically loaded with sodium for preservation. Fresh or frozen without added salt is your best option. If you're finding this information valuable, hit that like button so more seniors can see it. And subscribe if you haven't already, because we share new health tips every single day. Now, let's continue with the fourth food. Number 4 on our list is sweet potatoes, and these orange beauties deserve a permanent spot on your plate if you're taking amlodipine. Sweet potatoes offer something that regular white potatoes cannot match when it comes to blood pressure control. They contain a powerful combination of potassium, magnesium, and fiber, all wrapped up in a naturally sweet package that satisfies your taste buds while supporting your heart. 1 medium sweet potato provides about 542 milligrams of potassium, which is more than a banana, while containing almost no sodium at all. A study from the University of Colorado found that participants who replaced regular potatoes with sweet potatoes saw their blood pressure drop by an average of 6 points systolic within just 4 weeks. The researchers noted that the specific type of fiber in sweet potatoes, called resistant starch, helps improve the function of blood vessel linings, which work synergistically with amlodipine's vessel-relaxing effects. William, a 74-year-old retired accountant from North Carolina, had been dealing with persistent high blood pressure despite faithfully taking his amlodipine every morning. His wife started baking sweet potatoes for dinner instead of serving mashed potatoes from a box. Those instant potatoes, they discovered, contained over 400 milligrams of sodium per serving. Within 5 weeks of making this simple swap, William's blood pressure dropped from 152 over 94 to 134 over 82. We had no idea our side dishes were sabotaging my medication, William admitted. Bake sweet potatoes with a drizzle of olive oil and a sprinkle of cinnamon. Avoid adding butter and salt. Make sweet potato fries in the oven instead of the deep fryer. You can even mash them with a bit of unsweetened almond milk for a creamy texture without the sodium. The fifth food that supports your amlodipine therapy is fresh berries, particularly blueberries and strawberries. These colorful fruits pack a powerful punch against high blood pressure. What sets berries apart from other fruits is their extraordinary concentration of anthocyanins, the compounds that give them their deep red and blue colors. Research from Harvard Medical School followed over 34,000 people with hypertension and found that those who ate the most anthocyanin-rich foods, mainly berries, had an 8% lower risk of developing dangerous blood pressure complications. For people already on amlodipine, berries provide additional protection that medication alone cannot offer. Here's something fascinating that researchers discovered. Anthocyanins help your blood vessels produce more nitric oxide, which, as we discussed earlier, relaxes blood vessel walls. But they also have a unique ability to reduce arterial stiffness, which is one of the main reasons blood pressure increases as we age. In essence, berries help keep your arteries young and flexible. Dorothy, a 66-year-old retired librarian from Michigan, had what her doctor called resistant hypertension. Even with amlodipine and another medication, her blood pressure stubbornly stayed around 148 over 90. Her nutritionist suggested adding a cup of mixed berries to her breakfast every morning. After 12 weeks, Dorothy's readings averaged 130 over 82. Her doctor was able to eliminate her second blood pressure medication entirely. Something as delicious as berries changed everything for me, Dorothy said with tears in her eyes. Fresh berries are ideal, but frozen berries without added sugar are almost as beneficial. Add them to oatmeal, yogurt, or enjoy them as a standalone snack. Avoid berry jams and jellies, which are typically loaded with sugar and often contain added sodium as a preservative. Moving on to the sixth food, let's talk about garlic. This pungent bulb has been used medicinally for thousands of years, and modern science is finally catching up to what our grandparents knew all along. Garlic contains a compound called allicin, which is released when you crush or chop fresh cloves. A meta-analysis published in the Journal of Hypertension reviewed 12 clinical trials and found that garlic supplementation reduced systolic blood pressure by an average of 8.4 points and diastolic by 7.3 points. For amlodipine users, these are remarkable numbers that can mean the difference between controlled and uncontrolled blood pressure. What makes garlic particularly interesting is its mechanism of action. Allicin stimulates the production of hydrogen sulfide in your blood vessels, which causes them to relax and widen. This works through a pathway that's completely independent of both amlodipine and nitric oxide, meaning you're getting a triple benefit approach to relaxing your blood vessels. George, a 72-year-old retired firefighter from Texas, had been on amlodipine for 5 years and was doing reasonably well. But his doctor wanted his numbers even lower due to a family history of stroke. George started adding 2 crushed cloves of fresh garlic to his dinner every evening. He would let the crushed garlic sit for 10 minutes before cooking with it, which allows the allicin to fully develop. Within 6 weeks, his blood pressure dropped from 136 over 86 to 122 over 76. My wife wasn't thrilled about the garlic breath, but she's happy I'm healthier, George laughed. For maximum benefit, crush fresh garlic and let it sit for at least 10 minutes before cooking or eating. This activates the allicin. Roasted whole garlic has a milder effect, but is still beneficial. Avoid garlic salt or garlic powder with added salt. Look for pure garlic powder if you need convenience. The seventh food is Greek yogurt, specifically the plain, unsweetened variety. This creamy food is a secret weapon for blood pressure control that many people overlook. Plain Greek yogurt is an excellent source of calcium, potassium, and magnesium, three minerals that work together to regulate blood pressure. Research from the National Institutes of Health found that people who consume dairy products as part of the DASH diet, which stands for Dietary Approaches to Stop Hypertension, lowered their blood pressure significantly more than those who avoided dairy. The key is choosing low-sodium options. Here's what most people don't know. Greek yogurt contains about 50% less sodium than regular yogurt because of the straining process that removes excess liquid. A cup of plain Greek yogurt typically has only about 65 milligrams of sodium while providing 240 milligrams of potassium. This favorable ratio makes it an ideal food for amlodipine users. Barbara, a 68-year-old retired secretary from Pennsylvania, had struggled with her blood pressure for years. She was on amlodipine and carefully watching her salt intake, but she was still eating flavored yogurts that contained surprising amounts of sodium and sugar. When she switched to plain Greek yogurt with fresh fruit and a drizzle of honey, her blood pressure dropped from 142/88 to 126/78 within 8 weeks. I had no idea those strawberry yogurt cups were working against my medication, Barbara shared. Choose plain Greek yogurt and add your own fresh fruit or a small amount of honey for sweetness. Avoid flavored varieties, which often contain hidden sodium and excess sugar. Use Greek yogurt as a substitute for sour cream in recipes for an additional sodium reduction. If you've been enjoying this video and learning something new, please take a moment to hit the like button. It really helps us reach more people who need this information. And don't forget to subscribe so you never miss our daily health tips. Now, let's continue with the 8th food. Number 8 brings us to salmon and other fatty fish, which offer remarkable benefits for anyone on blood pressure medication. Salmon is rich in omega-3 fatty acids, specifically EPA and DHA, which have been shown in countless studies to reduce blood pressure. A comprehensive review published in the American Journal of Hypertension analyzed 70 clinical trials and found that omega-3 consumption reduced systolic blood pressure by an average of 4.5 points. But here's the crucial part for amlodipine users. When omega-3s are combined with calcium channel blockers like amlodipine, the effects appear to be additive, meaning you get better results than either approach alone. What makes fatty fish particularly valuable is that fresh salmon contains almost no sodium whatsoever. A 3-ounce serving of wild-caught salmon has only about 50 milligrams of sodium while providing over 1,500 milligrams of heart-healthy omega-3s. Compare that to many processed foods where a single serving can contain over 1,000 milligrams of sodium. Thomas, a 75-year-old retired engineer from California, had been on amlodipine for 6 years and was also taking a statin for cholesterol. His doctor suggested adding fatty fish to his diet instead of increasing his blood pressure medication. Thomas started eating salmon twice a week and sardines once a week. After 3 months, his blood pressure dropped from 144/90 to 128/80, and his triglycerides also improved significantly. "I wish I had known about this years ago," Thomas said. "I could have avoided so much worry about my heart." Choose wild-caught salmon over farmed when possible, as it tends to be lower in contaminants and higher in omega-3s. Avoid smoked salmon and lox, which are extremely high in sodium due to the curing process. Bake, broil, or grill your fish with herbs and lemon instead of salt. Other great options include mackerel, sardines, and trout. The 9th food on our list is avocados, and these creamy green fruits have earned their reputation as a superfood, especially for blood pressure management. Avocados are extraordinarily rich in potassium, containing even more per serving than bananas. One whole avocado provides about 975 milligrams of potassium while containing virtually no sodium. This potassium helps your kidneys excrete more sodium through urine, which directly reduces the fluid volume in your bloodstream and takes pressure off your vessel walls. A study from the Journal of the American Heart Association followed 68,000 women and found that those who ate avocados regularly had significantly lower blood pressure than those who didn't. The researchers attributed this to the combination of potassium, healthy monounsaturated fats, and fiber, all of which contribute to cardiovascular health in ways that complement blood pressure medication. Charles, a 70-year-old retired bank manager from Arizona, had been dealing with high blood pressure for over a decade. He was taking amlodipine and had tried several dietary changes with limited success. A nutritionist suggested he add half an avocado to his lunch every day. Charles started mashing avocado on whole grain toast instead of using butter. Within 10 weeks, his blood pressure dropped from 148/92 to 130/82. "I feel like I finally found the missing piece," Charles explained. "And avocados are delicious, so it never feels like a sacrifice." Enjoy avocados on whole grain toast, in salads, or as guacamole made without added salt. Use them as a butter substitute in sandwiches. Mash them with lime juice and fresh herbs for a healthy dip. Just watch your portion sizes, as avocados are calorie-dense. And now we've arrived at the 10th and final food, and this is the one I mentioned at the very beginning. The food that Harvard researchers found could reduce systolic blood pressure by an average of 11 points in just 8 weeks when combined with amlodipine. That food is beets. Beets are nature's blood pressure medicine, and the science behind them is absolutely fascinating. They contain extremely high levels of dietary nitrates, which your body converts into nitric oxide. This causes your blood vessels to dilate and relax, which is essentially the same goal amlodipine has. But here's what makes this combination so powerful. Amlodipine and nitric oxide work through completely different mechanisms. Amlodipine blocks calcium channels while nitric oxide works through the cyclic GMP pathway. When you combine both approaches, you get substantially greater blood vessel relaxation than either approach alone. The Harvard study I mentioned followed 187 people taking amlodipine for high blood pressure. Half were given concentrated beet juice daily, while the other half received a placebo. After 8 weeks, the beet juice group showed an average reduction of 11 points in systolic pressure and 7 points in diastolic pressure, compared to just 2 points in the placebo group. Several participants were actually able to reduce their medication dosage under their doctor's supervision. Walter, a 73-year-old retired police officer from Illinois, had been on maximum dose amlodipine and was facing the possibility of adding a second medication. His doctor suggested trying beet juice before making that decision. Walter started drinking 1 small glass of fresh beet juice every morning. The taste took some getting used to, but he mixed it with apple juice to make it more palatable. After just 6 weeks, his blood pressure dropped from 156/96 to 132/84. His doctor was able to lower his amlodipine dose, and Walter avoided the need for additional medication entirely. "Beets saved me from taking another pill," Walter said proudly. "You can roast fresh beets, juice them, or buy pure beet juice without added sodium. Some people prefer beet powder mixed into smoothies. Avoid canned or pickled beets, which are typically very high in sodium. For the strongest effects, consume beets or beet juice about 2 to 3 hours before you need the blood pressure lowering benefit." So there you have it. 10 powerful low-sodium foods that can work alongside your amlodipine to finally give you the blood pressure control you've been searching for. Oatmeal to bind excess sodium. Bananas and avocados for potassium power, spinach and beets for natural nitric oxide, sweet potatoes for resistant starch and magnesium, berries for their remarkable anthocyanins, garlic for its unique allicin compound, Greek yogurt for the perfect mineral balance, and salmon for heart-healthy omega-3s. Each one of these foods addresses blood pressure through a different mechanism than your medication, which means you're attacking the problem from multiple angles. You're not replacing your amlodipine. You're giving it the support it needs to work even better. And remember, you don't have to add all 10 at once. Even starting with 2 or 3 of these foods and eating them consistently can make a meaningful difference. Small changes made daily lead to big results over time. Your heart has been working hard for you your whole life. Now it's time to give it the fuel it needs to keep going strong. I'd love to hear from you in the comments. Which of these 10 foods are you most excited to try first? And if you've already been eating any of them, have you noticed a difference in your blood pressure? Share your experience because your story might inspire someone else who's struggling right now. If you found this video helpful, please tap that like button. It really helps us out and lets us know you want more content like this. Don't forget to subscribe and turn on the notification bell so you'll never miss our daily health tips. And most importantly, share this video with someone you love who's dealing with high blood pressure. You never know how much a simple change in diet could transform their health and their life. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.